The last pay-per-view of the 200s era is over. After a monumental past few years of the 200s, which has seen countless legendary moments and stars being born, UFC 299 was headlined by the potential new star of the UFC, who is looking to take the sport to the next level. Sean O'Malley would be defending his title against the only person who has beaten him in the octagon, Marlon Chito Vera. This is alongside a stacked card full of fun fights of up-and-coming contenders, debuting stars, and former champs and legends. So did UFC 299 live up to the hype? This is the fight franchise and the recap and review of UFC 299. The early prelims kicked off with Marina Moroz taking on Joanne Wood. The fight started off with Moroz doing the better work in the first round, but Wood rallied and landed some brilliant damaging shots in the second and third round, which won her the eventual unanimous decision. Joanne Wood after the fight would hang up the gloves and retire on a win, which was a great way to end her career. Asu Almabayev took on CJ Vargera next, where Almabayev was the better fighter across 3 rounds, using his pressure and wrestling to control the fight, and tried to go for the submission, but he also was good on the feet, landing some good shots. He won the clear, unanimous decision. Next up, the highly exciting debut of Rebelis Despain, where he was taking on Josh Parisian. Despain had a lot of hype due to his fast KOs and huge frame and reach. This was no different. He pressured forward looking for the finish and stumbled to the ground, and as he was backing up, landed a brilliant KO to win the fight in 18 seconds. Let's hope the UFC build his career slowly, as we could have a new star at heavyweight soon. The next fight on the early prelims saw the exciting Michel Pereira school Mikhail Olislacher in 1 minute, where Pereira landed some nasty body shots which hurt Olislacher, where Pereira quickly got the back and choked Olislacher unconscious. That's 7 straight wins now for Pereira, who is on the best run of his career. Ion Cutelaba and Felipe Lins were up next, where Lins did the better across 3 rounds with his striking and won the unanimous decision. That brought the end to some fun early prelims. The prelim started with Kyler Phillips taking on Pedro Munoz, where the fight was fought on the feet but had early controversy, with multiple eye pokes in the first round from Kyler Phillips. The fight, however, was a fun scrap where Phillips did the better work and won the unanimous decision. A lightweight bout up next, where up-and-coming contender trying to break through to the top Mateus Gamrot took on former champ Rafael dos Anjos. The first round, RDA did the better, landing the more significant damage, courtesy of a huge knee and a big left hook. Gamrot did get a takedown at the end of the first round and gain control, but did no damage. This was followed by a second and third round where Gamrot took over the fight and grinded down RDA to steal the second and third round to win the unanimous decision, where Gamrot is slowly getting ready for a big fight at the top of the lightweight division. Caitlin Chikagian took on Macy Barber, where Macy Barber was the more impactful throughout the fight, landing the more significant damage in a fun scrap, where Barber won the rightful unanimous decision. The final fight of the prelims was a heavyweight bout with huge implications on finding out who the next up-and-coming contender for the heavyweight title would be. Curtis Blades took on surging contender Jailton Almeida, where Almeida did more of what we know of him in the first round, where he was relentless going for takedowns and Blades was defending and getting back up, where Almeida was just smothering Curtis Blades for most of the first round. The second round, Almeida went for a takedown and Blades stuffed the takedown and started slamming down hammer fist relentlessly until Almeida wasn't defending and couldn't take the damage anymore, where Blades secured the finish and got an excellent win and ended Jailton Almeida's amazing win streak. That was the end of some decent prelims. The main card was stacked full of fun and huge fights, which began with Petr Yan taking on Song Yadong. This fight had huge implications of the future at bantamweight and finding the next contender after Merab and Sandhagen. The first round, Song Yadong did brilliant with his speed and was great landing shots, where Yan was biting on all his feints that Song was putting out. This saw Song steal the first round. Song Yadong did more of the same in the second round, where slowly Yan was beginning to get his rhythm back and landing shots in return and stuffing takedowns and doing damage back, where Yan was able to shift the momentum and steal the second round. With momentum in his favour, Yan did great work and stole the third round as well to win the fight in a great comeback win after some unfortunate losses. Let's see now if Yan has what it takes to build himself back up to the title shot. A huge fight at welterweight where up-and-coming Jack Della Maddalena was taking on perennial top 5 welterweight Gilbert Burns. The fight took place where Jack was the better and more fluid striker on the feet, throwing multiple shots, while Gilbert was throwing big 1 or 2 shots. The fight did have some grappling and clinch moments, with Gilbert securing takedowns looking for a submission, while Jack did have some great submission defense. The fight was hard to score, but the third round, Burns managed to take down Jack and control him on the ground, where he was stealing the round and starting to win the fight. However, with just over a minute left, Jack managed to scramble out of Burns' control and got up where Burns followed, and Jack landed a huge knee which wobbled Burns, where Jack Della Maddalena followed and secured the brilliant finish, securing victory from what seemed the jaws of defeat. A huge win which throws Jack Della Maddalena in the top 5 and well on his way to a title shot, potentially with one more huge win. The next fight saw a highly anticipated debut many fight fans expected to have already happened. Michael Venom Page would debut and take on Kevin Holland. MVP came out from his entrance and put on a show, where he would frustrate Kevin Holland with his awkward striking style, in and out where he would cover the distance, land a huge shot and get out, which frustrated Holland, who kept missing. There was moments of grappling, but MVP's defense held up well against Holland. This happened across all 3 rounds, with MVP landing the more significant damage to win the decision. Let's hope we see a huge matchup for MVP versus Wonderboy on a UK pay-per-view if we get one this year, or on the McGregor versus Chandler card. The co-main event was a huge matchup at lightweight where Dustin Poirier defended his position atop the lightweight rankings against a hype up-and-comer in Benoit Saint-Denis. The fight was brilliant with an unreal pace where Saint-Denis put pressure on from the get-go, where he was throwing huge shots and going for takedowns where Dustin Poirier was looking for guillotines. Saint-Denis would look for the rear naked choke, but Poirier defended well. The second round, Saint-Denis pressured looking for huge shots where Poirier's striking defense was on point and landed huge counters which wobbled and stunned Saint-Denis, where Poirier landed a huge right hand which flatlined Saint-Denis to earn the unbelievable victory. This was unreal and just another name on the legendary resume of Dustin Poirier, who deserves huge respect in welcoming an up-and-coming contender like Benoit Saint-Denis. The main event, Sean O'Malley was defending his world title against Marlon Chito Vera, who in the first fight TKO'd O'Malley. This fight was a masterful performance by the champion. Marlon Vera, who is naturally a slow starter, was being pieced up by O'Malley, who easily won the first round against the measured Vera. However, this approach would be costly for Marlon, who was chasing the fight from here on, as Sean did brilliant striking at range, landing his jab, all while Marlon could never catch Sean, whose defense and evasiveness was too much for him. Sean at one point landed a massive knee, which would have flatlined other bantamweights, which showed how tough Vera is, but it wasn't enough. Marlon only started fighting in the 4th, and by that point the fight was getting away from him, where he had took too much damage. Sean won the comfortable unanimous decision in the best performance of his career, which hugely elevates him as a champion, as we have seen his striking capabilities across 5 rounds, where we see he is able to put on a clinic against the best fighters in the division. His call out of Ilya to Poirier is a bit silly, and both Sean and Ilya have work to do and clean out their divisions before talks of champ. That brought the end of a fun card of fights. The early prelims had some decent action, and it was good to see Rebellis Despain debut and get started with a win. Michel Pereira also put on a really entertaining performance. The prelims leave more to be desired, as the fights were competitive and fun. We were just missing that exciting war we all love. Curtis Blades did excellent, ending Jailton Almeida's win streak. The main card was fantastic. The competitive high-level matchup between Piotr Jan and Song Yadong was great. Jack Della Maddalena's KO was a brilliant moment. Michael Venom Page had a fun and exciting debut which got off to a win. Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis had a great scrap which ended via KO, and Sean O'Malley put on a clinic to end a fun main card. If we were to grade this card, overall this card gets a B. A brilliant main card brings this card's score up and ends the 200s era on a high, with the UFC's new superstar ending on a win. Next up, the massive UFC 300 and a whole new era of UFC pay-per-views.